buenos dias, buenas tardes, o buenas noches, whatever time it is of the day that you are accessing this class. I'm glad you're here. This is clase 18 de Español 112, and I'd like you to start by asking, I'm going to ask you to answer a question that I'm going to give you that just comes from some of the vocab that we've been working on. So, I'm going to find it here, and I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to stop a second, and I would like you to provide the oral answer. I will come in a little bit later and answer that question and see how well yours compares to mine. Not just the words themselves, but listen for pronunciation as well. So, pregunta número 1. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Why don't you go ahead after each question and pause the video and then start it again once you're ready to listen to what the potential answer would be for that. Okay, so I'm going to ask it one more time. Pause the video, answer it aloud to your computer screen, and then I would like you to go ahead and resume play and listen to what that question answer should sound like. So here it is again. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? So your answer should sound something like this. Mi cumpleaños es el 26 de noviembre. That's what I would answer because that's my birthday. So maybe you want to write that down. Send me a little gift. It's up to you. Anyway, mi cumpleaños es el number de month. Es el 26 de noviembre. ¿Prefieres las galletas o el flan? Una vez más, yo repito. ¿Prefieres las galletas o el flan? Pause el video. Para mí, yo prefiero las galletas. Maybe some of you said yo prefiero el flan. Okay. Pregunta número 3. ¿Lo pasaste bien el viernes pasado? Yo repito la pregunta. ¿Lo pasaste bien el viernes pasado? La respuesta es sí, lo pasé bien o no. No lo pasé bien o lo pasé mal el viernes pasado. If you had a bad time, if you didn't have a good time last Friday, is the past tense. Notice we're using past tense. We're going to be working more with past tense today. So, lo pasé, your form of that. Pasaste was in the question. Here's one more. ¿Con quién celebras la Navidad? Yo repito la pregunta. ¿Con quién celebras la Navidad? La respuesta, yo celebro la Navidad con mi familia, con mis amigos. So yeah, any of those combinations of people, con mis amigos y con mi familia, would be the correct answer for those. All right, so vamos a seguir. I have just a little joke here. As you all know, los calcetines, we know what happens to them in the secadora. So a little conversation between calcetines here. Muy bien, recuerden, remember, mantenerse junto, close, right? Junto, a su pareja. We had one of our vocab words, pareja. That partner, stay close to your partner. Yeah, because you never come out of there with the pair for sure. So, la pareja. Okay, vamos a seguir. Con la devocional, I have sent you guys the song link that I would like you to listen to, along with the lyrics that go along with that. And so I would just like you to take a look at that, listen to the video while you watch the lyric sheet that I sent you as well. We're talking about the fact that the song is referencing the fact that all of our lives, not just on a Sunday morning, that our lives exist to worship God in all of His goodness and all of His glory. And so you may or may not have realized this, but when you came to this class today, what you are doing can potentially be an act of worship. If you are giving what you can and giving your best, giving to God what He has blessed you with, giving back to Him what He has blessed you with, it's an act of worship itself. So the song, the title indicates that. Vine a adorarte. We're going to be talking about that past tense verb, vine. I came to worship you. Vine a adorarte. Vine a postrarme, to bow down. I came to bow myself down before you. Vine a decir, I came to say. Vine a decir que eres mi Dios, that you are my God. If you recognize some of the lyrics, that it sounds familiar, there is a song in English that's called Here I Am to Worship. I noticed that the Spanish title just is a little different, but the meaning of that song is still the same. That everything that we do, everything that we bring before the Lord, can and should be an act of worship for us. It's just showing God that we are using the gifts that He's given us to do something with them. So I'm going to let you go ahead and pause the video, pause this video, open up the video that goes along with the song, watch the lyrics as you listen to it, and actually the lyrics, I believe, are on the screen, so you don't need to necessarily go back and forth. Watch for things that watch for things that are just most recently we've been talking about, especially vine, ise, I believe is on there, isiste. Yeah, there's a few things that are on there, so watch for those, and go ahead and pause this video now. Come back when you're ready. Ok, aquí vamos a poner la tarea escrita. As usual, when I post the tarea escrita, it's an opportunity for you to do a self-check. How am I doing? How am I using the vocab? How am I using some of the grammatical structures that we're learning? When you load this into Blackboard, I will check to see that you've completed it and give you full credit for doing that. However, that's not, a few points, that's great and everything, right? But the reason that I'm doing this is so that you can check yourself, see how you're doing, see if what you need maybe more work on potentially. Notice that these questions, they have some vocab that we've been working on. So like the verb brindar, for example, champán, pastel de chocolate, also los invitados, right? So tons of vocab in these, and also past tense that like I mentioned before, that we're going to be working on today. So, los invitados brindaron con champán y comieron el pastel de chocolate. La segunda, número 2. Ellos nos sorprendieron. Vinieron a nuestra fiesta. Vinieron, sorprendieron. Notice that they're both past tense. They're both what they did. So listen to the ieron at the end of that. Vinieron happens to be one of our I group irregulars. So sorprendieron, just a regular ER verb, just like you would expect any other ER verb to do. 3. La pareja, new vocab word, lo pasó bien en la boda. New vocab words, boda, lo pasó bien. Also la pareja. So notice that pareja is a singular thing. So we're going to use the singular pasó, not pasaron. I know you're referring to two people, but the word pareja is just singular there. Número 4. Los recién casados. Again, vocab word. You can see a theme. I'm giving you vocab words, right? Los recién casados se relajaron y bebieron una botella de vino o tomaron una botella de vida. Either of those are the idea of like intaking or drinking. Bebieron una botella de vino o tomaron una botella de vino. 5. Quisimos comer el helado cuando hicimos nuestra tarea. Notice the imos is the end of both of those because it's about what we did. Also notice that there's a different meaning behind the past tense of the verb querer. Normally, querer has to do with wanting something, wanting to do something, or loving a person, liking a person. Notice that this means neither of those things. It's not just that we wanted to eat ice cream. We tried. We intended. We did something about it. And we'll find out this whole We did something about it. That's going to make more sense as we get to Lección 8. So hang on to that concept. When I say that over and over again, remember that when we get into the next lección. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, she kept saying that we made an effort, we tried, we did something about it. So that'll come back. We tried to eat the ice cream. Quisimos comer el helado cuando hicimos nuestra tarea. Número 6. Lots of vocab again. El amor y la amistad son importantísimos en un matrimonio. El amor y la amistad. If you didn't have the articles along with that, if you just had amor y amistad, I get it. That's how we say it in English. Articles, especially when you're talking about things in general terms, in Spanish we tend to use those more often. So, el amor y la amistad son importantísimos en un matrimonio. Y número 7, la última frase. Me encantan las galletas de Navidad. Me encantan las galletas de Navidad, the Christmas cookies. So, me encantan, plural, because las galletas are plural as well. So, check yourself, check your own answers. See what there's something that you potentially need work on. It was an opportunity to give you guys practice with the vocab and some of these past tense verbs that we're working on. Hicimos, quisimos, vinieron. Okay, so we'll keep working on that. Which is what we're going to do right now. So I have for you, I'm going to put up here on the screen, I have some little strips of paper that have some subjects on them. So you'll see things like el, right? You'll see tú, okay? You'll see things like yo, and I'm going to, it's kind of weird to put them on the screen. I'm just going to say them. I'm going to go through them. I'm just going to randomly pull them out and say a subject, okay, that I would like you to give this very, very, very short phrase. I'd like you to put this little, very, very short phrase in the past tense with the subject that I give you. Now, that sounds confusing, but let me demonstrate it here. So, the verb hacer, as you guys know, this is not a new vocab word. We talked about this. Hacer, we learned a long time ago. To make, or in this case, probably to do. So if we put that all together, hacer la tarea, to do the homework, right? But this is often something that we talk about in the past tense. Yesterday, I did my homework. Last night, we did the homework. They did the homework. You did the homework. So keeping in mind those subjects that I was just talking about, I'm gonna just go through those one at a time, and I would like you to, I don't even think you need to pause the video. I'm just going to give you a brief little couple seconds. I would like you to say the form of the verb hacer along with that phrase la tarea. And I'm going to give you probably 5 or 6 of these just to practice. Before we start, I would like us to do those 5 forms of the verb hacer. So remember what we talked about yesterday, that it's in the I group, right? So the A of hacer turns into an I. So that stem you're going to hear all the way down, every single form is that is, right? Is. Hice for yo. Hiciste for tú. Always an iste for tú. Hiciste la tarea. You did the homework. Hizo la tarea. And if you remember, we talked about the Z, the spell change that is in there as well. So it's not hico la tarea, but hizo la tarea. Hicimos la tarea. Every time you hear it, MOS at the end of something, it's always something that we either do, or in this case, we did. We did the homework. Hicimos la tarea, hicieron la tarea. Okay? So, I'm going to give you the subject. First one is él. Okay? So, he did the homework. Tell your screen. Ready? Go. Él hizo la tarea. Let's do Silvia. Silvia hizo la tarea. Mis padres. Mis padres hicieron la tarea. Make sure that you're beating me to this, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple more. Amelia. Amelia hizo la tarea. Nosotros. Nosotros hicimos la tarea. Hicimos la tarea, okay? I'm having you do it with la tarea because it'll help you, your brain, connect what that word means with, the definition. So, hicimos la tarea. We did the homework. Next one is the verb venir, also an I group one. So the E in venir changes out to an I. That stem all the way down is going to be vin. I came to class, you came to class, he came to class. So I'm going to say the whole phrase, or I'm going to give you a subject. I would like you to give me that whole phrase. So first one, nosotras. Nosotras vinimos a clase. Javier. Javier vino a clase. Tú, you came to class. Tú viniste a clase. Yo vine a clase. One thing that students have a difficult time with when we're learning these is that the O, if you'll remember when we did the present tense, the O was always about what I do, right? And in the present tense, yes, that is. In the past tense, the O comes in when we're talking about what he did and what she did and what usted did. So every time I give you a subject like Silvia or Javier or whatever, the he form or she form of that, vino a clase. I came to class, vine a clase. Okay, vine a clase. One more of those, mis amigos. Mis amigos vinieron a clase. Let's move on to the other I group verb, and that is the verb querer. If you remember, the stem for that is, beat me to it, quis, quis, quis. And then you're going to apply those endings again all the way down. Now, however, this one has a little bit different meaning, right? So as you're saying each one, I want you to be very aware, paying attention, making your mind aware of the fact that what you're saying is actually not I wanted to study, she wanted to study, they wanted to study. The idea is I tried to study. We tried to study. We intended, they intended to study. We tried, we did something about it. We opened our books, we took our notes out, we went to the web page, etc., etc. We all did the things. We tried, we intended to study. Okay, so keep that in mind as you are saying that. So here we go. First subject is Ana y yo. That makes nosotros, right? Ana y yo quisimos estudiar. El niño quiso estudiar. Ustedes, there's plural people going on there. All of you guys all tried to study. Ustedes quisieron estudiar. Tú quisiste estudiar. Yo quise estudiar. And then usted quiso estudiar. Now, for today, I wanted you to learn those three and practice those three and just know the stems for all of those. Is, vin, quis, right? However, there are in the back of your vocab sheet, if you want to flip it over, there's two other, which I kind of put in the I group, sort of, because they have some I's in them. I want you to see them. Turn to the back of your vocab sheet and take a look at the verb dar. Dar, we've learned a long time ago, is that verb to give. Okay, maybe you've forgotten, so let me remind you. That's that verb to give. Not to give a gift, but just give me a book, or give me, anything that you hand over to me. So, dar. Dar los libros, so I have give the books there. So notice that the 5 forms of that sort of have I's in them, right? So let's say all 5 forms. I'll say it along with you. So you find them at the bottom of the back of your vocab sheet. Let's do all the 5. Yo di, tú diste, ella dio, nosotros dimos, y ellos dieron. Okay? Diste, dio, dimos, dieron. And while we're at it, take a look at the one right next to it, for the verb ver, to see. Okay, we learned ver veo. Your form is irregular, right? That's present tense. Past tense again, it's going to look a little bit different. So I saw, vi. Tú viste. Do the rest of them with me. Él vio. Nosotros vimos. Ellos vieron. Now, just one letter off, right? Di, vi. Diste, viste. Dio, vio. Dimos, vimos. Dieron, vieron. So I put them together just because I want you to see the similarities to those. But keep in mind separate those, what those words actually mean. Here we go. I'm going to give you a subject again, and I would like you to tell me who gave the books. So put this in the past tense. First one, usted. Usted dio los libros. Yo di los libros. I gave the books. Tú diste los libros. Ustedes. Ustedes dieron los libros. We'll do the same thing with the verb ver. Who saw a movie? The first one, the subject is el niño. El niño vio una película. Ana y yo vimos una película. Mis amigos vieron una película.